Hi, English 1022 students. I'm here to talk to you about two things. Notifications from D2L on things that I add into D2L. And also I want to show you what to expect and how to read all the documents you're getting back with your assessed and graded English essay number 1, which was your rhetorical analysis. And you know this week we're working on essay 2, which is a revision of writing from your past. So I want to show you what it looks like to get your assessed and graded writing back. And so let me start with notifications. So I am logged into D2L as a student, so you should be able to see the same things that I'm seeing. You'll notice that in the updates area, when you have a graded assignment, it tells you. So this is one way to receive a notification if you don't want notifications coming to you from a, let me scroll back up here, from an internal message, a D2L messaging system. So this is one way to find it as well. But to set up the notifications to come to you, oops, I'm scrolling down, I shouldn't be scrolling down. You're going to go to announcements and then to notifications. And what you'll find when you scroll on the notifications pages is that there's lots of stuff you can choose. SMS is the instant message within the D2L messaging system. I message you there sometimes from that bwheel27@ucourses.com. And I think email would come to your Front Range email account. There's so much to choose from, y'all. I wouldn't do any of this stuff. You're starting to get a sense for how I use announcements. I do one announcement at the beginning of the week, and I've decided to do a Weekend Warrior announcement to post updates to folks who are logging in mostly and doing the work on the weekend. And I'm doing that in one of the discussion board posts. So, you know, I wouldn't do announcements. Assignments, that's where you're uploading files for your essay. So again, no need to do that because you have a weekly schedule that tells you when you're using an assignment Dropbox to turn in an essay, and you're not doing that in Module 3. You'll be turning one in Module 4. Content, I wouldn't get notifications on any of the content, y'all, because I don't release content until the beginning of each module week, which is 12:01 a.m. on, you know, whatever day the module's starting on. Discussions, you know, sometimes you're getting feedback from your classmates, sometimes you're not. The journals, I'm usually responding to your journals within, you know, the journals have just come to me within the grade book, so I wouldn't get notifications on any of these. You can just check for discussion responses from your classmates when you log back in. I mean, you can not listen to what I'm saying and all this, y'all. I'm just trying to keep your notifications pretty lean, like you're not receiving a lot. Here are the ones I recommend. The grades. So when I have updated a grade, so if I've made a mistake with your grade and I have to update it, or if you missed a deadline but you completed the assignment within the grace period, I'll do a grade update. And then when you get a assessed and graded essay through the assignments, this is really the one I recommend that you click. You can get notifications only through email on this one. So actually the SMS doesn't even work. It's just the email. I didn't even know that until this moment. But anyhow, this is the one I would choose because then you'll know when something is graded, especially the essays, which are worth more in your total course grade than the discussion boards are anyhow. Okay, so once you've chosen that, you can click save. I'm going to click cancel because I don't want to get any of these notifications. And again, if you don't want the notifications, I think one thing to pay attention to is this updates panel that's on the announcements page, which you could go right to. You could click on this. So that's where I'm going to go next. I want to talk about what happens when you receive your assessed and graded essay back from me. There are a couple of things I recommend. So let's click here and see what happens. I think it's going to take you to assignments. Indeed, it did. It takes you to the assignments page, which you could also get to from activities assignments. It would bring you to the same location. And you notice that it tells you that you have unread feedback. It shows that you submitted it. And it gives you your grade here. But you're going to want to go to the feedback. So let's click on unread. And you're going to get a long note from me, you all. I'm pretty much explaining what this note says right now about how to read the feedback you're getting. It shows your grade. And here's what it does. It shows you 2 attachments that I've provided. This is a handout you need that's like a secret decoder ring. I'm being a goofball right now, y'all, but look, it really is a decoder handout because when you open your inline feedback in a few moments, you're going to see there's a lot of highlighting. So you're going to need this this handout. So this handout's called the 20 Most Common Errors. I call it the blue handout sometimes. That's why it's in the title. Let me open this so you can see what it looks like. This is the decoder. I'm going to put numbers into your draft to show you where your grammar, syntactical, and mechanical errors are. And you need this to figure out what the numbers mean. When you see a number 4 in your draft, it means you've used the wrong word. What do I mean by wrong word? Gosh, wrong word is the most complicated of these errors because it could mean lots of things. It could mean you actually have the wrong word that has the wrong meaning. It can mean you have a typo, like you've typed a word that's not the word you meant, but that's not the one word that you actually meant to use, but spell check didn't catch it because it wasn't spelled wrong. It could mean you need a plural noun, but you don't have the S on the end. It could mean you have used the author's first name when you don't need the author's first name when you're referring to the authors of the primary sources or any of your sources for that matter. So wrong word is used in a lot of situations. But here's a more specific one, a number 8. If you see a number 8 in your draft, it means you have misused a comma to combine or attach or connect two independent clauses, and independent clauses should not be combined or attached or connected with a comma. That's an error that is more academic than creative. You see creative writers using comma splices every once in a while, but not a lot. So some of you tend to, instead of using periods or semicolons or other words that might combine sentences, you tend to use a lot of commas when you shouldn't be using commas. So that is a specific error. You'll see the 8 above the comma, and you'll know you need to fix it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my D2L tab. And so that was the first handout I downloaded. You'll only have to download that once, but I'll probably attach it to your assignments Dropbox every time. So you're going to be using this 20 Most Common Errors sheet a lot. And it's so valuable to you all because it's helping you to track your most common sentence level errors. You'll leave the class being aware of what kinds of errors you need to edit for. So it's tracking your pattern of errors. The second thing that I attach is my comment sheet and my assessment of your writing. So I'm also going to open this one. And I put it in RTOF feedback, so it should either open in a Word or you could even open it probably in Google Docs or in an Apple Pages program as well. So I'm going to move my window over a little bit. So you're going to receive this green handout with every essay you submit into the Dropbox for English 1022. And what I've done is I've come up with some criteria, and each of the criterion are related to the elements of the rhetorical situation. So you'll see in the first element, first criterion, that I've scratched some things out because for essay 1 we were only practicing with topic, purpose, audience, context. And you know for essay 2 we've moved on to genre and exigence. So every time we have a new essay, more elements of the rhetorical situation will be practiced, and then more will be revealed. In the other criterion, you'll notice that I have associated the criterion with specific elements of the rhetorical situation. So the first time you receive this back, you have a lot of reading to do to see what the elements are. But they're mostly related to, this is rhetorical situation, this is organization or structure of the essay, this is your connection to your topic, also related to development of essay. Have you said enough? Have you said too much? Kind of thing. It's related to exigence, you see. This is voice. This is word choice or diction. This is use of sources and use of MLA format and documentation. This one is related to you, the writer's connection with the reader. This is creativity related to your writing, and creativity in writing for me reaches through every element, you all. It has to do with your opening. It can have to do with how you connect from paragraphs and do transitions. It can be how you introduce sources. It can be how you connect sources. It can be how you comment on sources, how you explain, how you describe, how you narrate. I mean, it's everything. But you see it's associated with purpose and exigence here as well. So this is not a creative writing class, but you are expected to think critically and creatively to make your writing connect with a reader and for you to engage with the rhetorical situation fully. So that's really what I'm looking for, is that you've engaged with the rhetorical situation fully and creatively in your writing. And then the last element, you notice the word editing is highlighted here, And it has to do with those 20 most common errors. So I'll think about the number of errors that showed up, how many times I had to hit a highlighter to show you where an error was. And so that's the quality of your editing. I mean, if you've edited well, I won't mark very much. And if you haven't read through and edited at all, I'll be marking stuff a lot more often. Then below that, you all, I have some feedback on the assessment of your writing. This up here, all of these criteria are the assessment. And then I don't have a rubric where I say, here's the best way you can achieve creativity. Here's the second best way. I instead personalize comments. I tell you strengths and weaknesses. So I don't give you a rubric where I just kind of, mark the box where you are for the criteria. I instead personalize. So then you're going to see me telling you what your strengths are in Essay 1 and where you can revise. And I'm very specific. I give a lot more feedback in the revision section because you are going to be able to revise this essay one time. During Module 5, you'll be able to revise Essay 1 or Essay 2. You will make a choice and submit it for an updated grade. As long as the piece is stronger and has addressed some of the revision items, it can earn a higher assessment and grade. It can stay the same, and it could go lower, but if it goes lower, because you take a risk with your revision, you'll keep your original score. So I would pay a lot of attention both to your strengths and where things can be revised, because everyone has strengths, and every writer has areas in their writing that can be improved. So I would pay attention to both of those. All right, so I'm going to go back to my window, and the last thing you'll need to see after you have these two handouts downloaded is the inline feedback. Okay, and the inline feedback shows the highlighting. So you'll notice that I can print this draft for myself. I think I can even download it and save it so that if I wanted to, I could compare the instructor's comments to my original draft, because you can't really revise or edit from this draft, but you could compare my marks to your original file and make the changes. So notice what I'm doing. I have highlighting. This particular highlighting you'll see if you forgot your last name and page number for the MLA formatting. The header is over here. Sorry, the heading is over here, but the header is blank, so I'll often mark those, so you'll have to add the header. Here's where you see the highlighting marks to show those 20 most common errors, where I'm noticing sentence level errors, and I put the number 8 right on top of the comma. That shouldn't be there for the comma splice. You'll remember I just talked about that. Here's another comma error. Number 5 is a missing comma with a non-restrictive clause, so you would have to add a comma there. Number 15 is a missing comma in a series or a list, which would mean a comma there. Number 18 means, I think the handout calls it a run-on sentence or a fused sentence, which means you don't have a punctuation mark between the end of one sentence to show where it ends and show where the beginning of the next sentence starts. That's a true run-on sentence, y'all, not a long sentence that just keeps rambling and rambling and rambling. A run-on sentence is truly a part of the sentence where you need punctuation to show the end of one independent clause so that we see where the beginning of the next independent clause starts. So that's how it works. And then I didn't give an example of this, but sometimes you might see that I have some text type into your document where I'm giving you a little note that might refer to some of the notes that I have in the bottom of that green comment assessment sheet. So that's how it works. If you have any questions, definitely let me know, or schedule a check-in meeting. We can go over your draft. I can help you to think about what needs to be revised, how to revise. I can go over the errors in the 20 most common errors sheet with you, though I also have an expectation that you'll be researching some of those. If you're looking at the blue handout, the 20 most common errors handout, and you're saying, I don't even know what the heck a restrictive clause is, research it. Open up Google, type in grammar, restrictive clause. You'll get so many websites that will describe the error and show some examples. Our textbook doesn't have a grammar section. It doesn't have any information about sentence, so you're going to have to either research, work with a tutor at Front Range, or you can definitely schedule a check-in meeting with me. And so the one last thing I want to show you all is that the other place you can get the inline feedback is in your gradebook. So remember, we came to activities, assignments. The other way to get to this same page, again, is just to keep track of your updates. And when you have a graded or assessed essay, that update will be there. But since I've clicked on it, it's now gone, right? So if I wanted to get back to that page because I forgot to download the 20 most common errors handout or something like that, I can click on activities assignments. I can read my feedback again, and then I can come back to the same files. I don't think I clicked, so it didn't advance. So here we go, and it's the same note, and the same files are uploaded, and then the inline feedback. The other thing that you can do, you all, is go to grades, but it doesn't give you the handouts here is the only thing. So if you just needed a quick, I want to check on my inline feedback because I forgot to download it or forgot what Beth said about this or that, you can come to your graded item and get the feedback and download it or print it, right? And so we're in the grade book. And so the other thing you can do is read the note about how you're able to read my feedback, read the highlighting, and when you're able to revise Essay 1. So let me know if you have any questions at all. Sometimes students don't get the attachments, and I'm not sure why. I think it has something to do with your computer. So if that happens, let me know, and I can email you through the D2L messaging system up here, your assessment sheet, the green sheet and the blue sheet. But you should always have access to your inline feedback here, even though you see that it doesn't give you any access to the attachments the way that assignments page did. All right, that was a long video, but it's a video for the whole semester, y'all, because all of your writing, will be returned to you in this way. And I look forward to working with you on your writing and taking you through the revision process of Essay 1. You're starting to think about the revision process of Essay 2 because you've chosen a piece of writing from your past. But you all, revision will become a much bigger focus in this class because revision is not polishing, as you've heard me say in other videos during Module 3. And you need to have a different understanding and relationship with revision. Because quite frankly, revision is writing. It's not just writing something quickly and turning something in, right? Especially when we're doing essay writing, and especially when we're submitting something to someone who's going to be assessing or evaluating the quality of our work. All right, let me know if you have questions. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I think it's supposed to be hot again, so stay cool and stay hydrated and stay in the shade. And talk to you soon. Bye.